How do I build a house that is rentable? A house that is saleable? Well, in this video, we're going to answer just that. Welcome to House Plans and Construction Expert Platform, a place where we teach you how to build your financial legacy using property as a vehicle. My name is Chikwabe, founder of Chilumi Architects and Home Designs, a place where we build right, and we are about helping you build elegant, affordable, modern homes at 25% below market value and without using your own money. I'm also a professional property investor in residential development with more than 20 years experience in architecture and project management. My dream here is really to transform the availability of modern medium-priced home ownership for economically disadvantaged families in Africa. We are about to inspire, educate, and train these economically disadvantaged families on how to qualify for the acquisition of a new home towards the evolution of progressive communities assembled for the purpose of enhancing your children's lives. Yeah, so in continuing to look at wanting to build a house that is going to be rentable, should I want to rent it? Wanting to build a house that is sellable, should I want to sell it? So I would like us to really look at an overview of what we've covered and then coming back to present, as it were. We in the spirit of building long-term legacy, we've looked at building a house or building a home that would require or meet technical standards. So we've looked at, in building a house from a technical point of view, we've looked at how you want to approach the building with the correct methodologies. You want to design a house. You want to involve in professionals. You want to bring in an architect. You want to bring in a draftsperson, and then you get assisted to design something that is going to fit on your stand. But then also we looked at how you want to use the materials, the right materials. You want to also involve professionals to help you inspect the works. Because our aim is to want to build a long-term legacy, and in doing that, you need help. You want to build something that is going to last 6 years, 7 years, 8 years and above. You want to avoid something which you want to really build without proper management, such that when it's built after 3 years, 4 years, your house really begin to crack. It really tells you that your house will not last very long. So that's one aspect. And the second aspect, which I think we'll be looking at it in our next videos in more details, is you want to look at it from an administrative point of view. You build it, you want to protect it, you want to not only, but the correct really question is, how do you want to register that property? Do you want to register it in your name? And should you die, you begin to, those who remain behind begin to have problems, begin to fight over your property. Or versus when you really registered into an entity, some kind of a trust which really doesn't die. So when you die, it still remain active and it carries on the legacy, so to speak. So we'll look at that in a more detailed. But then the second part in trying to address what we are looking at today, building a thing or building a house that is going to be rentable, building a house that is going to be sellable should you want to sell it. You then begin to, in the same way you've looked at when you were designing, you looked at components that really met your needs. You looked at the size of a bedroom, you looked at the size of a kitchen and what you want to install. You looked at the type of windows, the type of roof, etc. And then secondly, then you begin to look at the location. Where do you want to build it? And in the choosing of the location, we looked at how it's got to be near your workplace, it's got to be near your shopping complex, your church, your bank, and also school, near a school for your children, so that those components become functional for you and it really serves your need. So there's the third part we want to look at also is really having a future perspective, really planning into the future, so to speak. And you want to really look at things like, yes, in getting the location, this time around you've gotten the location and you want to build something which want to blend in the neighborhood, so to speak. Let me give an example. You don't want to go and build a huge house in a low-class neighborhood where there are small houses. There you are, you go and really plant a huge house and you really stand out. And unfortunately, you could only get benefit from a prestigious point of view. In the sense that, people will look at your big house and really admire your house. And perhaps maybe give motivation to some people. But then you also, your house could really work as some kind of a campus. I mean, you are in a neighborhood where there isn't proper order, so to speak. You have roads which are not named. You have houses which are not numbered. It may be very difficult to locate. And your house could maybe play some kind of a campus. People would use it as some kind of a reference. When you come, you turn to a particular point, you will see this big house. It's painted in pink. You just count 4 houses and you turn to your right. So it could have a function in this society from that perspective. But the question really is it going to really benefit you from a financial perspective? Example number 1, let's say you, just like I was saying, life tends to throw us circumstances, situations that which we didn't really plan for, which we didn't really anticipate for. For example, you get a promotion at work, and that promotion really requires you that you need to relocate into a different city. And what do you do? Do you move out in your big house and perhaps give it to some relative to take care of that house whilst you are away for a good 2, 3, 4, 5 years? Or do you really want to rent it out? Now, since we've really built this massive, huge house in that low class neighborhood, is your house now going to really be rentable? Because then the really possible clients that could afford that particular house, maybe medium class people and high class people. Now the question is, will they be willing to go and rent your house in that neighborhood? And so it can be very challenging. It can be a very big challenge to find that getting the right tenants may be very difficult. But then the point is, you want to consider some of those circumstances such that when time comes, you can easily rent your house to somebody. Well, you can, it doesn't matter who you rent it to, but whether it's a relative, you still want to rent it out. Whether it's just an ordinary, any other person, you want to rent it to them. Because at the end of the day, like I've been saying, your property is an asset that when you invest, you put in your sweat and your toil into that structure. The goal is that at the end of the day, it must take care of you. It must look after you. So I'd like to challenge some people who tend to, home builders who tend to build a house, and they've only got one narrow mind to think that they will stay in that house for the rest of their lives. But sometimes it's not really like that. The second scenario, you find that in the area, in the city where you've built your house, maybe 3 years, 5 years down the road, you find that that city may be not doing well economically, and then you want to, and then you find opportunities in the next city. But then, that will require you to move from wherever you are to that particular city. So what do you do with your house? Do you, again, want to just bring in some relative to take care of your house, and you're still paying the maintenance, bills, water, just to keep that place alive? Or do you rather want to rent it out? And since that you're moving cities, you're moving places, could that not even work for you, in the sense that the money you'll be collecting as rent in your property, you could use that same money as rent to where you're beginning to go and settle? And it could be a win-win situation from that perspective. What if also you get some opportunities outside the country, and you go away for 5 years, for a long time. So, but basically you then begin to see the point. What which you build must not only take care of you in terms of giving shelter or roof over your head, but it can also be used to benefit you in other aspects. You've built it to take care of you. So the second scenario we see is a young couple that is just starting out, and they have a dream to have 3, 4, 5 children, and perhaps maybe bring in some extended families, bring in some nieces, some nephews into the home. And so they go and build a house, 4, 5, 6 bedroom house, and they quickly raise the children well, and before they know it, the children grow up and become independent, and so the couple remains just the two of them with a big house. So what do? Do they continue to maintain that house such that it keeps on taking money from their pockets? Or should they want to look at what is more practical, what from a financial point of view? Do they just not want to consider downscaling, maybe moving to a house that is smaller, which is 2-bedroom, 3-bedroom house, so that they can rent that particular house? Now again, the question comes, the house which they built, is it a house that will be attractive to other people? Will this house be easily rentable to other people? Or should they even want to sell it? Is this house going to be easily sellable at maximum price? So those are issues you want to really consider as you build your own. Will I at one point, or should I want to sell, should I want to rent, will I quickly have a customer to come and rent, to come and buy that house? So the third aspect I want to bring in is that of old age. People who come to me in their young age and they want to design and build a double-story house, and they really want to have their master bedroom on the first floor or on the top floor. I always advise them that they should consider also having a master bedroom on the ground floor, such that when the time arises, such that they get old and the time arises, and really going to sleep on the first floor doesn't become any more practical. They just move into the ground floor, because they've already got that master bedroom on the ground floor. And in that way, they don't have to, when the time really arises, they don't have to start now breaking, extending the ground section so that they can accommodate a master bedroom, because it's already there. But also the bonus of it is, whilst they are using the master bedroom in their young age, they can use that master bedroom on the bottom, on the ground floor, to accommodate special visitors, mother-in-laws, father-in-laws, and just basically special visitors. And so, those are some of the things which encourage people who are building double stories. But not only that, should they now move out, or when the time comes for them to move out for whatever reason, that house would be very attractive, one, for a tenant. It would also be very attractive for a buyer. So those are things what you want to really consider. And the last and final point I have is that of the fact that death is inevitable to all of us. It will come in different forms. It could just come in the form of just a sudden sickness and death takes you. Or it could be some form of an accident, or even just natural death, which comes with old age. But then as perhaps maybe one spouse dies and the other spouse remains, and sometimes for psychological reasons, do you want to continue staying in this house you've spent your latter years, or do you just want to change an environment? You want to consider some of those things. But at the end of the day is, when you are moving out, is that property going to be attractive to somebody wants to rent, somebody wants to buy. So let's recap to looking at how you can build your house that is easily rentable and a house that is easily sellable. We've looked at the technical aspects of how you want to design a house that meets your needs. But also we've looked at the geographical aspect point of view, where you want to build it in an area that is going to be functional for you. And then the last aspect is you want to build a house that one is an elegant house, it's a modern house, and then it's got aesthetical features that is attractive not only to you, but also attractive to other people, attractive to a tenant, attractive to a buyer. Because in that way, then you are able to really maximize profit on your property. Because then it will have a lot of huge demand, whether rental or sell. So those are the things you want to consider, and I hope you get one or two insights. So if you like this video, please give me a thumbs up. I always love those thumbs ups. And if you haven't subscribed, please subscribe so that you can get next videos. But also remember, if you have any comments, if you have any topics that excites you, please write in a comment section below. But also if you want us to include any more other topics, please write and send them onto our comment section. Again, thank you for your support, and please subscribe, and see you in our next video.